Okay guys, sausage casserole. You're going to love this. Alright, sausage casserole. Before I go on, I need to warn you, there's practicing for an air show which is going to go on tomorrow. So you'll probably hear some noises in the background of jet engines, maybe turboprops or whatever they're flying above us. So just so you know. Right, when embarking on the road to make a sausage casserole, it is highly advisable to have some sausages. Now, this is a meaty version and it's made with these beautiful Lincolnshire pork sausages, and there's a 400 gram pack of sausages. I've got, for aromatics, I've got a couple of cloves of garlic which are finely sliced. I've got some common thyme and some lemon thyme and some fresh sage. You can use the dried versions of any herb you like, or even use mixed herbs, but you're only going to need about a teaspoon of dried ones because the fresh ones are not quite as strong. I've got some tomato paste or tomato puree, and that's a generous dessert spoonful of them. I've got some mixed beans. You can even use baked beans if you like, straight from the can, and but I like using these mixed beans, and they're just in water, so I'll drain those off and use those. I've got a medium-sized onion which is chopped up kind of like that. Give you some idea of the way I've chopped it. I've got a red pepper which I've chopped more or less the same. I've got a couple of small medium carrots which I've chopped up to these slices, and if you wonder why I cut them on the bias all the time, it's because I don't like them rolling around. It's really just quite that simple. I've got a thick rasher of bacon which I've chopped up into these fine pieces here, and that's the ingredients out of the way, and we're ready to go. Okay guys, make sure you stick around to the end of the video and I'll show you another one of my top tips. Alright, into my hot casserole pan goes a couple of tablespoons of oil, cooking oil. I'm using olive oil. Use what you like. And then I'm just going to put in my sausages and slowly cook those until they're nice and browned. And the reason we do that is A, for the colour, because we want them to look nice, we want them to look like sausages. And the other reason is to get the flavour into the oil, because everything that goes in that pot is going to benefit from the flavour of those sausages. While we're on the subject of sausages, I want to make a little bit of room and get my bacon in there, because bacon is flavour. Now, we're not going to need anything like a stock cube for this, because we're cooking with bacon. If you're cooking with vegetarian sausage or vegan sausages, you can just put in about half a teaspoonful of Marmite, and it will have more or less the same effect as the bacon. It will give it a deep umami flavour, and that way you'll be able to do a vegan or vegetarian version of this. So I'll bring you back when I've browned the sausages. Alright, I've got a big colour on those sausages now, and I've turned down the heat to about 2/3 of the available heat on that stove. And as you see, the bacon's browning up rather nicely. And I'm just going to lift off these sausages now and put them in a bowl and keep them warm, because they're going back in once we've completed the next stage. I'm leaving the bacon in, and into that goes all my onion and all my peppers, and we'll move that around, let that take on a bit of colour and soften up. Hi, don't forget, if you like what you see, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I'd love to hear what you've got to say in the comments. It's those thumbs ups, they really help. Thank you very much. With that in mind, I've got 3 lovely people to thank in this episode. That's Sha C, Mr. Paul and Bradley Bennett again. Thank you for your generosity and support. It's much appreciated, and it helped me out of a hole this month. Thank you. Cheers. So the casserole I'm using is a cast iron and enamel one, which is got a very heavy lid, and it will transfer from the stove top to the oven. If you don't have such a thing, and you're probably going to have something like a Pyrex casserole, so you need something that's got a lid on it, or you can fashion a lid out of foil. But you can do the frying in a fry pan and transfer everything to your casserole. I'm rather lucky in that I've got this rather nice enamel casserole. Right, once your onion starts to look translucent at the edges, we can get in the carrots and the garlic. I've really just chopped that up finely, that's all that I'm doing with that. But it's up to you, you can mash it up a bit more if you like with a bit of salt. And then just cut out a little bit of that salt when you do the final seasoning. So you'll see the fond is catching on the bottom here. That's not really a problem, because once we start to add liquid to that, that will lift, and that's pure flavour. That's like a stock cube. So let that go for a couple of minutes, and I've chopped up the herbs. I've chopped them up fairly fine and just stripped the thyme from the leaves, but if you're using dried herbs, they're already chopped up for you, so you don't need to worry. The reason I use sage is because the Lincolnshire sausage is famous for using sage in its recipe, and I like to stir that in. And when you do so, put your nose over, because that is fantastic. That is a fantastic smell. I love that. Okay, once you've got a whiff of that beautiful herb, it's time to introduce some liquids to this. So I'm going to add 300 mils of water, and then just let that come slowly back up to boil. And as you do so, it'll start lifting the fond off the bottom of the casserole dish or your frying pan. And at this stage I'm going to add in the tomato puree, tomato paste. Let's get that in. Give it a good old stir to mix. And that's all the tomato flavour we need. We're not making a pasta sauce. We're just using the tomato for its extra umami kick and flavour. And at this stage we can add back the sausages. Put them in a pattern if you like, it's up to you. There, I'm an artist, look, check me out. Anyway, just going to add those in, and then I'll cover and simmer that for a few minutes. I just want to let those flavours come together. So there you are, that's simmering away. At this stage I'm going to add in the beans. And what I'll do is I'll stir those around. You can always use baked beans at this stage, in which case you'll end up with a bit more sauce, but don't worry about it. It's just going to be delicious, don't you worry about it. So we get those in and see where we are with the level of sauce. So at the moment we're kind of up to there, but I just need to top that up a little bit more. So I'm just going to add some more water, Aldershot stock, and then let's give that a little taste to see where you are. You can use that spoon, no problem, just won't reuse it. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that tastes great. I've done my taste at this stage, but now you can adjust your seasoning, and it's at this stage I'm going to just adjust for any last final salt and pepper you're going to need. So I'll grab my pepper, because there's hardly ever enough pepper in anything for me, because I love it and it's awesome. So freshly ground black pepper, or whatever good pepper you've got to hand, and also a pinch of salt, which I'm going to have to put in there. Give that a mix to stir it in. Now it's at this stage, if you're cooking in a frying pan, that you want to transfer it to your casserole, but because I'm leaving mine in this pan, that can go in the oven as it is with the lid on. So I'll just rearrange it. Right, okay, what do you serve this with? I mean, traditionally it would probably be served with mashed potatoes, but we're just at the end of summer now, so I think what I'm going to do with that is just put in some new potatoes in that before I put it in the oven to bake. So I'll get back to you once they're done. Some other vegetables that go really well with this at this time of year are courgettes, or zucchini as you may know them, and cabbage is quite good too. I have been known to put sauerkraut in my sausage casseroles, but my brother's not quite as fond of it as I am, so I'll leave it out. Just going to slice up a few of these and drop them in. Lovely. The new potatoes this year have been really remarkable. I think they've been really good, even if they are climbing up in price. They have been rather good this year, and you put in as many as you like. I saw a Jamie Oliver recipe who did this with made up some nice potato dumplings. So I don't know if you've ever seen them packs of gnocchi that you can buy, but they would go great in here. About a packet of them would go great in here as well. If I'd have thought about it, I would have brought them and put them in this recipe for you. I'm going to add a few more spuds because my brother's a bit of an addict. And the tiny ones I just add whole. So you can, like I say, you can serve this with mashed pasta or rice. It's fantastic. But we're just going to make this into a one pot meal. And the reason I'm using so many potatoes is, like I say, my brother's a bit of an addict. And I know there's a lot of you spuddicks out there, so you'll enjoy this. Right now, what do we do with that? We just cover it and we put it in the oven fairly low. It doesn't need to be as high as 180 Celsius or 350 Fahrenheit. It just take it quite low. I'm going to take it down to 160 Celsius and give it about an hour. So here's a quick tip for you. Instant salad dressing. What we got is mustard pot with just a little bit of mustard left in it. Great. We're going to use that because I'm going to take a little bit of apple cider vinegar. You can use whatever vinegar you like, but tend to use a cider or a wine vinegar if you can. And then I'm just pouring in up to about that level, about there, about an inch up, about 2 centimeters up. And then I'm going to top that up about the same amount with olive oil. You can use any good quality oil for this. I like to use olive oil. This is a really nice one I get from Aldi. and put the lid on, give it a shake, and then have a little taste. But have a little taste of it, see if you like it. Yum, nice, a little bit tart. So I'm going to put in a bit of sugar. I'm going to put in about half a teaspoon of sugar, about that much. And then give it another shake. And boom, you've got yourself a nice salad dressing, and it's already in its jar. That will keep almost indefinitely, but you'll need to give it a shake before you use it. But why pay loads of money for salad dressings when that's all salad dressings are? So a very simple one there, made from any mustard. If you got Dijon mustard, if you got English mustard, it doesn't matter. About a tablespoon's worth of mustard in the bottom, left over. Pour on your apple cider vinegar or your wine vinegar and some good oil, good quality oil, and then give it a shake. If it's a little bit too tart like mine was, add a bit of sugar. You don't need to add salt because the mustard is already seasoned, and it's just ready to go. Great, eh? Pour that on your salad. Okay, let's see what this looks like. Oh. Oh yeah, gorgeous. I can see just by looking that potatoes are all cooked through. That's had just over an hour at 160 degrees Celsius, and it's come out pretty perfect. I'm just going to serve that up and show you what it looks like on a plate. You serve it as 2 or 3 sausages per person, depending how hungry you are. And just have a look at that. Absolutely delicious, full of goodness, tasty and inexpensive. You're taking a relatively inexpensive item like sausages and turning it into something really kind of special. Now, the only other thing I would put with that is a nice big chunk of buttered homemade bread. Gorgeous. Let's get you close up. Enjoy.